It began in the world of clinical science, fighting infections, protecting people. Today, that same mindset is transforming agriculture. Drones that scan fields with precision. AI that detects crop disease before the eye can see. Spraying that targets only what needs attention, no more, no less. This isn't just innovation. It's a shift in how we protect what feeds us. From the lab to the land. This is agriculture reimagined.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jeniece, and hi, Craig. Thanks for joining today's episode of Precision Meets Protection, where we explore innovations shaping a safer, smarter agricultural future. I'm Tanzeel Kamal. I'm the head of marketing and sales at Kaz Software. And today I'm joined by Craig Shaw, the CEO of Virus Shield Biosciences, and also Jeniece, who happens to be the CTO, who's been deeply involved in building and sharing this bold vision. Craig, Jeniece, it's great to have you both here. Thanks so much for making the time to join today's session. So I'll start with Craig, and I'll ask him a question that is more around foundation and the ecosystem of the solution. Craig, this is particularly about the bigger picture, right? For those discovering Virus Shield Biosciences for the first time, how would you describe the core of what you do in infection control? And now with your expansion into agriculture, what drove that shift from clinical protection to safeguarding crops and ecosystems?
Yeah, thank you, Tanzeel. As a company, Virus Shield Biosciences, we are very much into health and hygiene. And as you quite rightly stated, we started out in the hygiene market, killing bacteria, fungi, molds, and mildews wherever human beings would come in contact with them. And we also moved very quickly from doing what you would call typical medical conditions to classrooms, schools, and therefore we became involved in agriculture from, let's say, storage of products. This then became a situation where we started to learn from the farmers that they had a lot of problems since climate change or temperature changes globally, that molds, mildew, and fungi and bacteria cultures were starting to affect crops in the field. And we looked at what we could do, for example, in a hospital room. And then we said, well, we could do exactly the same out in the open environment. But it was, how do we protect the crops and protect the ecosystem at the same time, and not kill everything, but just kill specifically what we needed to kill and remove from it. And that's where we developed.
That is quite the journey from healthcare to agriculture, and what a powerful crossover in the mission. My second question, that is particularly around the drone-based system that is in place. Your drone-based system tackles early stage crop disease detection, right? Something traditionally done manually and often too late. Why did you prioritize this problem, and what made it urgent and uniquely solvable by your team at Virus Shield?
Yeah, Tanzeel, what we discovered very early on was that because we were looking at crops more in the transportation, i.e. in shipping and logistics, and protecting the crops initially from when they were harvested to when they were delivered to the supermarket where the public could buy them. In discussions with farmers, we learned that there were up to 40%, and in some cases 60% of the crops that were planted were not being harvested. We are typically, as most people would think, was due to irrigation, due to plant bad crops, bad seeds, and etc. But then we were really astounded to be notified that it's actually to do with generally fungi and fungi that attack the crop and eat it, or bacteria that grow on the crop and on the leaf, and therefore they stop the fruit from harvesting, or actually grow on the fruit and make it go rotten in the field before it's even harvested. So a farmer was typically losing 40% of his crop before he even harvested it. And knowing what we do and our skill set as microbiological protection and killing off specific microorganisms and removing biofilms, we literally realized that our product was unique in what it could present, and that the issue for us was, how do we develop a system that can identify this in the early stage, because before it gets hold of a crop and before it ruins the fruit or it ruins the growth of the fruit in the first place. So that's where came to the conclusion that an AI solution which could identify pigmentation within the leaf and identify when something is being attacked before it is too bad to do anything about. That's where we started to think AI was the solution, and that's why we kind of developed this into our drone system.
That's great. You're absolutely right when you say AI detecting pigmentation, and it's often these seemingly small windows catching something early that make all the difference in yield and long-term crop health.
Yeah.
My next question is about you addressing or the solution addressing crop health with high resolution drones, AI, and real time insight, which is far beyond just a tech project. How does this solution reflect VSB's, Virus Shield Biosciences' broader goal of long term sustainability and global health, whether for people, plants, or ecosystems?
Yeah. Yeah. The utilization of the AI and the drone technology was that it can be done very quickly and very rapidly. And as you quite rightly pointed out in over the last point, identification of the problem as it starts rather than before it's got a foothold is at the point that you can prevent it having an effect on your crop. So one of Virus Shield Biosciences' broader goals is to prevent illnesses in humans, illnesses in animals. We do a lot in animal healthcare, but it's all about preventing them getting the illnesses in the first place. So identifying the start of the infection and treating it with our product, which is very unique, which is very quick, which leaves no residues, and is therefore gets rid of the bacterial or the fungal infection and then disappears itself without affecting the ecosystem or people around it or the plants. That's part of our long-term broader goals for global health and sustainability. So that's really what drove us to use the high resolution drones, is because it's quick and it can identify before the problem starts, so we can solve the problem.
That actually brings such a powerful layer of purpose to the technology. I think it connects with a lot of the global sustainability conversations happening right now around the world. Um, my next question is about, this is really interesting. How has this been received so far from your field partners, of course, stakeholders, or even farmers? Has there been a moment in the rollout where it felt clear that this was going to make a real difference in the real world?
I think from our point of view is everybody is it is new technology. So many farmers are aware of drones, but drones are historically have been utilized to replace a tractor or to replace a backpack sprayer on somebody's back, where you would typically spray the whole of the field. Where our technology is really interested stakeholders and interested our partners, and even more so with the farmers now, is that you no longer have to treat 50 acres, 100 acres, or 1,000 acres of the crop. You can identify where the infections are, and you can treat just the areas that are infected. Therefore, it's massively cost saving, it's labor saving, and you're increasing your yields very, very effectively. So your profit margins go up. So that's what we're receiving at the moment. Where we are in the development of the project is we are now engaging. This year is the year where we're going out, because the AI requires significant amount of data resource, i.e. images of infected crops. So we are currently building up that database of infected crops, which will make our AI much faster and much quicker going forward. The more it learns, the quicker it can process. So that's where we are right now.
Right. We really hope the same. Thanks for sharing that. That kind of real world validation from the field says more than any dashboard can, I believe. Um, I'll move on to the next section, which mostly covers the technology in action. Uh, from our side at Kaz Software, having worked on complex AI and platform solutions for over 2 decades, this one truly challenged and inspired us in the best way possible. Um, this is for Craig, but Jeniece, you can jump in as well. Your clarity of vision kept us aligned and constantly learning while we were working in this project. With that in mind, Craig, I'll start with you. The system you've built combines flight automation, correct?
Yes.
Geofencing, AI-powered image analysis, and live dashboarding, all working in sync. From a CEO's lens, what was the biggest technical leap or breakthrough that made this platform really click?
I think from the point from our perspective is Jeniece and I've traveled the world extensively, and we have physically had to do this over the last 4 to 5 years. So we have climbed the trees, we have walked through the jungles, we have taken the pictures and done the laboratory testing physically ourselves. And where development of the AI software came was from, let's say, personal experience, what we had to do as individuals, what skills we brought into it, and we built that into what we wanted the AI to be able to do by just simply flying over, or flying over an orchard, or flying over a series of crops. And so the challenges that we kind of gave to Kaz Software were real world problems. There were things that we'd experienced. So it was, guys, this is how it has to work because we cannot see it all the time. We can't do this. And by doing the geofencing and doing the precision fixing, I think the development of the camera technology about 18 months ago that is in some of the more expensive drones changed how we could then get the image, and then we could extrapolate from the correct images. So that is the software that you guys built for us, because I think we may have given you a very clear indication of what needed to happen, but you sort of picked up and instigated how that data would be transformed, and that's what built our AI platform. I think it was a very much of a joint venture in how we did it.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Craig. That means a lot. Sounds like a serious orchestration of technologies done in the back end. I love how the complexity is hidden behind an elegant experience for the user. Um, I'll move the focus a bit to Jenice. She happens to be the Chief Technical Officer at Virus Shield Biosciences. Hi, Jenice, again. My question to you is, it's rare to see tech doing more with less, right? Reducing fungicide usage while improving accuracy and speed. How did you approach building something that's not just functional, but resource efficient? And how do you measure impact at the platform level?
That's an excellent question. So I think for us, really, we got into this by accident. And we just really started hearing a lot of people complaining about what they were going through. A lot of times traditionally when you're doing crop treatment, you're essentially drowning your crops in whatever liquid you're applying. So whether
Right.
that's, 100 gallons per acre, 50 gallons per acre, and not to mention the soil is ruined for 50 plus years after that. So as we were hearing all of these woes and complaints, which were entirely valid, we really started thinking to ourselves, well, hold on a second. We have a product that leaves no residues, that doesn't affect soil quality, that has no pathogenic resistance to date ever known. So why wouldn't we just test phytotoxicity and see if we can apply this on crops?
Right.
So Craig and I did a lot of testing in the field, and we treated all sorts of different things from coffee rust to powdery mildew to botrytis. And it was really, really interesting to see real-time reactions from farmers when we were able to validate on site that we had just eradicated whatever issue they had in under 60 seconds. So in terms of doing more with less, On top of that, we're able to give people a year's worth of product in a shoebox. So instead of having 10 IBC totes or more as a concentrate, we're able to send them something that I'm sorry, I don't have a Kellogg's box near me, but that comes
Cereal.
with the size of a Kellogg's cereal box. So we're lowering shipping costs. We're not shipping water. We're not affecting soil quality in a negative way. And more importantly, we're now increasing yields by 70 to 80%. So we're
Wow.
increasing profit margins. So rather than these people getting by just scraping by, now all of a sudden they're actually able to have a better quality of life. So I would say overall, it's been really, really great to see the ecosystems be affected, the economies be affected, and most importantly, the people that are doing the work be rewarded for the time that they're putting in.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. That is really fascinating. Impact measurement often gets overlooked in tech demos, but you have clearly thought about this at every level, I believe so. My next question would be somewhat similar to what I've asked before. When working with external partners on solutions like this, especially ones touching hardware, AI, and field deployment, what are the traits you value most in a tech partner?
So in a tech partner, I would say, a lot of the times, whether this be in dairy, whether this be in crops, a lot of the times the issue is that the tech just misses something. It's not intelligent enough to actually find the problem and then solve the problem, or it just glitches. So with us having a reliable AI software that is self-intelligent, that can say, hey, we're going to spray at 50 parts per million, whatever it might be. But then it can actually, if it has a question, geolocate that, capture it, come back to us, and then give us the option to say, do we want to treat this? I think that it's really, really interesting that your AI allows an ongoing conversation with the user as opposed to just making its own decision and then potentially skipping over a problem area that then expands into a massive chaotic problem for the end user.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Jeniece, sorry, Tanzeel, I think the other thing to
That's all right.
stay on here is that in the development of the AI software, and Jeniece is 100% right there, what she just said is it's getting those key parameters that we need to the people who are developing the AI software and the tech that we're building, and them understanding what our requirements are, because we're talking from field experience. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of technology today, as Jeniece has just said, may work fantastic on a screen. It may work fantastic in a laboratory or a control condition. We actually built, with your help at Kaz Software, this actual AI system from, as Jeniece said, from field work and field trials, and you developed it for us so that it works in the field, which is very significant.
Right. Appreciate that, Craig. It's always encouraging to hear what makes a tech collaboration really click, especially when there are so many moving parts. Um, Now, let's look ahead beyond the current rollout. My question is for both of you. Looking forward, there's so much on the horizon: crop diversity, predictive models, weather data, perhaps regulatory level adoption. What's next for Virus Shield's platform? I mean, and if you had to summarize the vision in one bold sentence, what does the future look like?
I think from if I start this off and Jeniece can follow, I think what we've started with this, the future is going to be extremely busy, because what started as a concept, and probably Jeniece will back this up, was initially for coffee rust, which is a global problem at the moment, which is rust is a type of bacterial infection that affects the growth of coffee and the coffee beans. And that's where it was all started. That was probably the primary. And literally it's bounced then to citrus fruits, so lemons, limes, oranges, avocados. We're into cherries, we're into grapes. So it's moved through the whole food range. In our just literally within 12 months, we've moved to a multitude, and we're now engaged with looking at soya plantations and palm oil plantations, tea fields, sugarcane crops, all have different types of bacterial. So the development of our AI software will continue because we are going to be very busy moving forward.
Yeah, and if I could just
Yes, please.
tag on to that, I 100% agree with what Craig is saying, but from a more 50,000-foot overview, for me, what I see us doing with your software is really disrupting the entire agricultural sector. I mean, we're talking about people who have essentially sprayed things just to spray because that's protocol, regardless of whether it works or not. So right now, we're actually really illuminating the fact that A, a lot of this stuff doesn't work. B, you're hurting the environment, and C, nobody's making any money.
Right.
So as for the future, what we're really looking to do is educate people on how they can make a better impact, both financially and in terms of the environment. So I see us being movers and shakers and really re-architecting and reorchestrating the optics on and engineering as to how this entire industry works. So I think it's going to be really interesting to actually simplify things and cut the dead fat off, which, sorry, that's a little grim, but trim off what isn't relevant anymore and really update. I mean, it's 2025. Why are we doing things from the 1950s? It's time for change.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that energy. I'm pretty sure big things are coming, no doubt. I love that you both bring a grounded optimism to the table. It's really inspiring, Craig and Jeniece. Thank you both. This has been such an insightful and energizing conversation. Your work is truly pushing boundaries, not only in protecting crops, but in reimagining what sustainable agriculture can look like in a data-driven, AI-powered future. Uh, to both of you who you joined us today, thank you for being a part of this important
You're welcome.
conversation. If you found today's session thought-provoking, we encourage you to share it forward, follow the journey of Virus Shield Biosciences, and continue exploring how technology can serve both people and the planet. Until next time, stay curious, stay innovative, and thank you for watching.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
you, both of you, for
Thank you.
joining.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Jenice. Bye.